Hello, comrades, and welcome to another video on the Chinese Revolution Area of Study 1. In our last video, we had a look at the significance of Sun Yat-sen and his three principles of the people, those being nationalism, democracy, and people's livelihood. We also looked at the Xinhai Revolution of 1911, and we ended the video by talking about Yuan Shikai's role in the 1911 revolution, which led to him becoming president of the Republic of China in 1912. So that's what this video is about, is the presidency of Yuan Shikai from 1912 to his death in 1916. So after the 19 revolution, Yuan Shikai, after securing the abdication of Puyi, he was sworn in as president on the 10th of March, 1912. His government, he was quite a strong leader, and Sun Yat-sen actually did approve of Yuan Shikai as a military dictator. Remember that when Yuan Shikai, when Sun Yat-sen was formulating his three principles of the people, democracy being one of the major principles, he believed that that needed to be phased in, and the first phase of implementing a democratic republic was having a military dictatorship in the first 3 years to maintain unity and to ensure that China remained unified and didn't break off into warring states as had happened in Chinese history. So Yuan Shikai was a very strong and firm leader. His government did introduce a number of modernizing projects and reforms, including reforming the legal system, suppressing opium farming, because opium addiction was a major problem facing China at this time, encouraging primary education, although only for boys, and teaching often Confucian values, which were not really in line with the modernization that many revolutionaries wanted. He centralized the national currency and managed to increase crop yields through irrigation and flood control projects. His leadership, his firm leadership, was praised in the British press. Yuanity became a slogan for unity and strength. Yuan Shikai was ambitious, he was domineering, and he had no intention of bringing about a democratic republican system. He got a taste of power, and he wanted to keep it, as we'll find out very shortly. So the Guomindang, Sun Yat-sen was appointed Minister of Railways after Yuan Shikai became president. While he remained leader of the nationalists, or the Republicans, responsibility for day-to-day political matters fell to Song Jiaoren. Song began preparing the revolutionary movement for parliamentary politics, moving away from revolution now that they had won the revolution, and moving towards being a political party. So he turned the Revolutionary Alliance, or the Tongmenghui, into a modern political party. This all happened in August 1912, when the Tongmenghui was combined with smaller parties to become the Guomindang, or the GMD, or you can refer to them as the Chinese Nationalist Party. Parliamentary elections were set for January 1913, and the Guomindang gained a majority of seats. Song was chosen to serve as prime minister. However, Yuan Shikai, in his role as president, had no intention of allowing the parliament to obstruct his rule. Song Jiaoren was assassinated on the 20th of March, 1913. Now, this was probably by someone aligned with Yuan Shikai, but there is no evidence to prove that. But he was assassinated at a railway station at point blank range. In July 1913, the GMD-backed provincial governor of Jiangxi province declared independence from Yuan's government. Within a month, more provinces rebelled, but Yuan Shikai, who had control of the army as a general, he easily put down these rebellions. On the 4th of November 1913, Yuan banned the Guomindang. So the majority party in the newly established parliament was now banned. In January 1914, he dissolved the national and provincial parliaments, basically saying he doesn't care for any checks and balances. He wanted complete control. And by May 1914, Yuan had secured a new constitution, extending his term as president from 5 to 10 years, and basically saying that he could serve consecutive 10-year terms. This also granted him increased powers over military, diplomatic, and financial decisions. Japan's 21 demands. Now, this is quite a significant turning point in Yuan Shikai's presidency. So on the 18th of January, 1915, Japan presented 21 demands to Yuan Shikai's government in return for granting loans to China. Among these 21 demands included extensive rights to economic development in Manchuria. Now, Japan and Manchuria will become a theme throughout this area of study because they invaded Manchuria a number of times. So that was one of their demands. They also demanded control over mining in central China, control of the Liaodong Peninsula near Korea, and the right to appoint Japanese advisors to the Chinese government. So these were quite enormous demands presented by Japan to Yuan Shikai's government. Yuan rejected the demands for Japanese advisors in China's administration, but he accepted a modified version of the 21 demands, accepting all of the economic conditions. Now, this outraged, as you can imagine, outraged many Chinese, leading to many protests. One of the reasons for the initial Xinhai Revolution of 1911 was due to the weakness of China against foreign powers and the influence that foreign powers were having in China. So this, the fact that Yuan Shikai accepted a modified 21 demands from Japan, giving many economic changes to Japan, it didn't go down well for many Chinese people. A day of shame was announced on the 7th of May when the 21 demands were finally signed. And this would consecutively, every year, it would be remembered as a day of shame. Now, Yuan sought to start a new imperial dynasty with himself as emperor. He had no intention of backing down as leader. He had no intention of having any form of democratic government. He really wanted to start a new imperial dynasty. He took to performing the rituals of an emperor at the Qing Temple of Heaven, and planned for the reintroduction of Confucianism into official proceedings. He even got some robes worn by prior emperors made, and had porcelain sets made for his imperial palace and things like that. On the 1st of January 1916, Yuan assumed the title of emperor. Many of his generals and provincial governors voiced their disapproval and declared independence from Yuan's government. And eventually Yuan was forced to renounce his claim to the throne on the 22nd of March, 1916. A few months later, on the 6th of June, 1916, Yuan died from kidney disease. Now, even though he was clearly power hungry and he had no intention of ruling democratically, Yuan Shikai had held China together. So one of Sun Yat-sen's 3 principles of the people, the principle of democracy, claimed that democracy had to be phased in with 3 years of a military dictatorship. And so the reason for that was because Sun Yat-sen believed that China needed to be held together during this transitional period. And that is something that Yuan Shikai did manage to do. And after Yuan Shikai's death, regional tensions rose again, and China became divided into autonomous areas controlled by warlords, marking the beginning of the warlord period. So Sun Yushan's idea of phasing in democracy actually seemed like a very good one, since Yuan Shikai, under his strong military leadership, he did manage to hold China together. But after Yuan died, China inevitably became quite tense again, and many tensions rose. So that sort of outlines the period of Yuan Shikai's presidency. I hope you found this video useful, and I will see you next time.